going on, everybody? Welcome back to the 31 Days of Horror. I am your host, Mood616, and thank you once again for stopping in, guys. Yes, 31 Days of Horror Volume 9, Day 31 is coming at you live and direct. Alright, guys, so we finally made it. It's the end of Volume 9, and it is, of course, Halloween. Yes, I love Halloween. I love the feel of it. I love how everything's a little bit cooler, the colors out there and stuff. Halloween's just a really fun time. So what y'all doing for Halloween tonight? Drop your comments down below. Anyways, yeah, so for day 31, we're going to take it back to last year, actually. I picked this one up at Cinema Wasteland. And I didn't even know that this was coming out. And it was actually like a pre-sale because it wasn't even on the website or anything, I think, at the time. And so I was at the Scream Team releasing table, and I saw that there was like, this was sitting there. I was like, damn, that's crazy. So, of course, you know, I got to do this one because I've done the other three in previous years. So, from 2024, we're talking about 1031 Part 4. Now, if you're familiar with this series, these are anthology films, of course, and this is, of course, the fourth one in the series, released by Scream Team Releasing. Lower budget, independent type production company that puts out a lot of like holiday themed type films. Halloween, they've done Thanksgiving, they do all sorts of things, Christmas, of course, but they really do a lot of anthologies and stuff. And yeah, so Part 4. Of course, this is an anthology film, so, you know, the synopsis on the little shorts and stuff are going to be a little brief. So this one starts out, of course, with Malvolia. Yeah, it's like an animated version. I swear in the ones before there was like a real person. I could be wrong. I might have been tripping about that. Anyways, she kind of introduces herself, blah, blah, blah. Then we get into the first story, which is called Eject Dead, and it was directed by Taylor and Matthew McManus of the Slash O'Lantern shorts. I've actually never seen those before, but I think there's 3 of them. And I know that they're just shorts and stuff like that, so I didn't really know what to expect from this because I wasn't really overly too familiar with a lot of the directors that were in this one. And so this one right here, Eject Dead, is basically, it starts with a backstory in like 1984, and it shows this guy and this girl, and they're burying this VHS tape. And of course, it jumps to like 20 or 30 years later, 40 years later to 2024 in the present day. And of course, we've got this guy that, you know, he's looking for a video to rent because on Halloween, it's like a tradition it's like an annual tradition with his friends that they sit around and watch some horror movies. So he picks up this tape, and it's funny when he grabs it off the shelf. It's like just a tape. There's no cover, no artwork, nothing. I think it's pretty funny. Anyways, he goes to his house and stuff like that. And his one buddy comes over. And his buddy is dressed up as, it's so funny. I actually laughed. He's like sitting there and he's like, yo, what are you dressed up as? And he's like, I'm Canadian Psycho. He's got this fucking axe with a Canadian maple leaf on it, dressed like Patrick Bateman, but he's called himself the Canadian Psycho. I actually thought it was pretty funny. But basically the whole time it's supposed to be 3 friends, you know, doing this Halloween night together, but their one friend works, has a job and he can't get the night off, and he works for this place called Pepperoni Dicks, and their slogan is, we're Pepperoni Dicks, we come really fast. And of course that actually made me laugh pretty good. So anyways, so him and his one buddy and the skeleton are sitting there watching this film and stuff, so they get this bright idea to actually basically, you know, get their buddy over, so they order a pizza, he comes over and stuff, and they start watching this film, and then the slasher that they're watching within this film comes to reality, and then, you know, they got to fight off the slasher. So it's basically the premise of this one right here. This one was pretty decent. I like the idea of like an old kind of like cursed VHS tape, and, you know, the killer coming out of the TV, you know, out of the movie setting into reality and stuff like that. The problem is with, you know, doing this type of story is like, it's a short. You know, there's just not a lot to it. I did like the way it ended. It was kind of funny how it ended and stuff. But, you know, all in all, it had some pretty funny stuff, like the Canadian Psycho thing, and then, of course, the Pepperoni Dick slogan and stuff. There's actually a point in there, I think when he's, like, going to the movie store, there's, on the theater marquee, it says, Godzilla, The Omen, and Ghostbuster. There's no S on Ghostbusters. That just made me laugh. I'm like, is that a fucking mistake? I was like, that's really funny. But overall, this one wasn't actually that bad. A couple decent kills, some bad CGI in there and stuff like that. So it is what it is. So in between, instead of having like a wraparound story in this one, they actually interwove some, not interwove, but they injected some fake trailers. The first fake trailer was called Gravestalkers by Zane Hirschberger, my boy Zane Hirschberger. That was a cool little fake trailer. I thought that was really fun and stuff. So, but it's a fake trailer, so I'm not really going to talk about that. The next short was directed by Dylan R. Nix, and it's called Hag's Heart. And this was kind of an interesting story. So, and I really like the guy that played Hag in this. It's pretty cool. So basically the premise is it's Halloween, and previously he had lost a daughter on Halloween to poison candy. She had passed away and stuff, and he's a candy factory owner. So it's a few years later, whatever, and he wants to dedicate this one to this Halloween to his daughter. So what he does, he comes up with a new recipe, chocolate bar and stuff. He buys up all the chocolate in the entire city, and he kind of disperses out so everyone gets all this candy and stuff like that. But of course, he's got an ulterior motive for what he is doing, and yeah. So this one is basically Halloween 3. It's Halloween fucking 3. Instead of having masks that are killing kids, it's chocolate bars that are killing kids. So much that they literally have his chocolate bar company with the same type of song. It's not the exact theme song from Halloween 3, but it's the same flash photography with their own little song and stuff playing on the TV. I'm like, oh my god, this is fucking Halloween 3. They show kids like flopping on the ground from eating this poison chocolate and stuff, and I'm like, oh my god. I love Halloween 3 because it's so mean-spirited, but this one is strictly like straight up revenge. Instead of like, you know, Halloween 3 is a little bit more mean-spirited, but this one's like straight up revenge tale. But yeah, the guy that plays Hag in this, he actually did a really good job at the acting. It's a little bit slower. It's kind of foreboding and stuff like that. But of course, if you've seen Halloween 3, you're going to watch this and be like, that's fucking Halloween 3. It's kind of funny. The next one is called The Witch's Curse, and it's directed by Dustin Ferguson. I'm not overly a big fan of that guy's work, to be honest, so I wasn't really looking forward to this one too much. This one actually has Brink Stevens in it, which I thought was kind of interesting. So basically it's about like these people that win this contest and end up going to this haunted house, which is haunted by these witches that were basically killed for killing kids and eating them back in the day and stuff like that. So it's like a revenge tale, like a witch revenge tale kind of thing. This one was really bad. I'm not gonna lie, this was a really terrible short. All the characters in this were so annoying and shitty. Like there's these two characters that are like influencers, and they're just like standing there fucking filming each other doing like all these signs and shit, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Who's doing this shit? At one point I looked, so there's this dude, he's filming this chick, and I look on it, his fucking phone's not even on. I'm like, dude, this is so bad. But like, you know, the haunting of the witches and stuff and the kill, like it was just, nothing was good about this whatsoever except for the music that's done by Rocky Gray and of course Matt Cannon. They do the music, I think, for all of the shorts, so this one actually has really good music throughout the whole anthology. But this short right here did not do anything for me. I thought it was abysmal. Not really good. And then you get another short. Actually, I think even before that, there's another short called Savannah's Strangler. So that's another fake trailer. And then one plays after this one called Shotgun Hooker. And that trailer is it's so 70s grindhouse shotgun trailer. It's like, just reminded me of Hobo with a Shotgun. It's kind of like their version of it. So you get like 3 trailers. Instead of having a wraparound, they put trailers in between all the shorts and stuff. And of course, the last one is called Moonlight Massacre, directed by Ryan Sheets of The Pumpkin Man, which I actually do have a copy of The Pumpkin Man. It's another Halloween film, of course. I've never seen it yet, so I'm thinking I might actually even do that one next year, considering it's a straight-up Halloween film. This one was all right. It's basically just about a dude that gets bit by a werewolf and then changes into a werewolf and like attacks some people and stuff. He attacks actually a girl in this short that's wearing a Pumpkin Man hoodie, which I thought was actually kind of funny. A little shameless promotion in the middle of that, but who cares? It's kind of fun. But yeah, it's very simple. It's kind of slow, and then it just kind of turns into a werewolf. And I will say, he kind of looks like a combination of. It doesn't look like your typical werewolf. He more or less looks like a demon gargoyle. It's kind of fucking weird looking, to be honest. A little bit of blood, no real gore. That one was a decent short, and then it ends with the animated Malvolia stuff at the end, and stuff, which I think Rocky Gray might have directed those and stuff. But so, anyways, that's it for the anthology. Now, my overall thoughts on this. Now, first off, I think all these shorts look decent. Like, they're all shot pretty decent and stuff. I just don't think any of the ideas are really that great. I mean, I like the whole haunted VHS thing. I like kind of doing your own version of Halloween 3. That was okay. It was kind of mean-spirited. It's probably my favorite one in the whole bunch. The Witch's Curse, I thought, was just terrible. It was just terrible. And, the last one, I like werewolf stuff, but there's not really a lot to offer here. It's so basic, and, basically when you only have about 20, 21 minutes to work with, and they're lower budget, so there's not really a lot of effects and throughout this, like, really at all. I mean, there's some decent one in Hag's Heart. There's a little bit of blood, maybe a heart in there and stuff like that, but overall, this whole anthology doesn't have a lot of gore, a little bit of blood. The music is fantastic by Rocky Gray and Matt Cannon, like I said. So if you like those synth scores from pretty much the majority of the Scream team releasing movies and stuff that they've done scores for, they always sound good. The production on this, it's lower budget, but it's definitely watchable. I gotta say, this is probably my least favorite of the four. Yeah, it kind of sucks. I mean, I do like the fact that they put some fake trailers. I think they might have done that in some other ones too. I can't quite remember. It's been a while since I've seen. I think I did the third one last year, and I can't even really remember it. But I think I remember liking the first couple a lot more than even last year's. And this one has got to be my least favorite. But I love the quote on the back here. It says, "Easily the best entry since the first." No, I think this is actually technically the worst one. But yeah, it is what it is. But it's a nice try, I guess. But maybe check it out at your own risk. I'm not fully recommending this, but I'm not saying don't check it out. If you enjoyed the other ones, you might get something out of this. Like I said, my favorite one is probably Hag's Heart. That was really good. Ejected. Play on words, I like it. That was probably my second favorite one. Then Moonlight Massacre, and then The Witch's Curse by far. And then all the fake trailers in this were actually pretty well done. They're probably my favorite thing about the whole thing besides Hag's Heart. I thought that was kind of fun to do their version of Halloween 3. Because Halloween 3 is actually one of my all-time favorite movies, as you guys probably know. So I think it was kind of fun to do that. But yeah, overall, pretty mid. I'm going to give this one about a 5 out of 10, to be honest. Like I said, the trailer is probably my favorite part, and one of the shorts really kind of stuck out. But for the most part, it's not the worst way in the world to spend 90 minutes. It runs about 90 minutes. So, I just wish that I like anthology films that have wraparounds. I like the idea of putting the fake trailers in there, but I would prefer to have a full-on wraparound story, that kind of connects everything and stuff. I think that's the ideal thing. Here, it's just a collection of shorts for me, with some fake trailers. It is what it is. So take it for what you will, but that's just my thoughts. So anyways, 1031 part 4. Pretty cool slipcover here. It's a lot better than the actual artwork that's on that. But yeah, so it's okay. Very, very mid stuff. So anyways, guys, that's going to conclude this year's 31 Days of Horror, Volume 9. Next year, I'll be back in Volume 10. A full decade of doing these. Yeah, I've missed a couple years, so I've been on YouTube for 13 years now. I think 13 years. So I did miss a couple years due to me completely being out of town and stuff. And when I first started doing these back in the day, I used to record these like on the day I was watching movie, record every single day and stuff. But last few years, I've had to pre-record some episodes because of being literally out of town and stuff like that. So yeah, so a little bit easier to do that. But anyways, guys, go out and enjoy Halloween. Drop your comments. I want to say thanks to everybody that commented. There was a few people that commented on pretty much every single video. I really, really appreciate that. I know it's tough to keep up with all the videos and stuff. Usually, it happens every year where you hit about day 17, 18, 19, and then the rest of the 31 days, like there's no views and stuff. Like that's totally fine. But yeah, it's just, there's too many videos. There's just too much out there. So I get it. Anyways, guys, that's going to conclude 31 Days of Horror. See you guys next year. And of course, I will be back with some videos right after this. I've got updates to do. I got Cinema Wasteland stuff to do. And yeah, be on the lookout for the podcast also. Shameless promotion. All right, guys. Check you later. And as per usual,